Very good evening to you, our esteemed viewer. Thank you so much for choosing Church of Uganda Family TV. We are grateful and we never take you for granted. Thank you, and I want to assure you that you made the right choice. This is the Family Hour, empowering families one episode at a time. Today is a Monday. We are grateful to God for this new week. Of course, we know there is a lot to leverage in this new week. Therefore, if there is anything that didn't go well last week, let it be. This is a fresh week, new ideas, new opportunities, new blessing. There is a lot that you should expect in this week. Edrine Osteen Mukalazi is my name, your host, and we are grateful that today we are discussing something very, very important. We know that holidays are soon. I know by early 20s, some schools will have started receiving the children. Some parents would have started receiving the holidaymakers. But also, we know end of this week, our babies, the P7 leavers, will be home, of course, with all that excitement. Vacation, VAC, and they even abbreviate it, VAC. We are going for our VAC. However, it is important for you as a parent to help this child, to receive them, nurture them, accommodate them, and make sure that they spend their vacation productively. Of course, last week we talked about the post examination, but today we want to look at basically the holiday makers, because it is important that you as a parent, you understand what to do with this child. You know, this is a child you've not had for almost 3 months. So when they come back home, of course, a lot of things have changed in them. Some schools take an initiative to impart in them some principles. Now, it is important that a parent, you know how to maintain these principles so that when they go back to school, it is not now a back to zero. We all saw what happened in COVID-19 lockdown, that when students eventually went back to school, teachers were complaining because a lot had changed. The values, the principles that the teachers had instilled in them were all washed away by the lockdown, because probably there was laxity by the parents. Now, today we are here to speak to you as a parent. That is why we are looking at harmonizing teachers and parents' roles in nurturing children during the holiday, because I believe this is the time we have our children fully, and this is a very long holiday, approximately 2 months. So it is important that you pay attention to this discussion. We have Mrs. Monica Agaba. She's here with us again. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Edrine.
So today you're on fire, because one, you're speaking as a parent,
Yes.
who is also excited to receive a vacist.
Yeah, true.
But also you're speaking as a teacher, a professional teacher, and a counselor. So we have a twin one.
You're right.
But first, greet other viewers, and then
Good evening, viewers. We thank God for this beautiful evening, and we thank Him for the opportunity that He has given us to serve Him, definitely through our speaking to you. I greet you all, and I thank God for you.
So how is Mengo, if I can ask?
Mengo Senior School,
Yes.
as always, it is beautiful, calm, and definitely to the point as ever.
Okay.
Yes.
Very, very interesting. We are grateful for the work you do in Mengo. So today we are looking at the role, harmonizing the teachers and the parents' role in nurturing the holiday makers. So as a parent, how do you feel now, having pushed a child to this first level of education, and what are your expectations when they come back home eventually? Yeah, on Thursday? Yeah, Thursday.
Yes, on Thursday evening. Thank you, Edrine. Of course, parents are the greatest gifts to their children, and vice versa. Children are the greatest gifts to parents, whether biological or not, as long as they are in your nature and nurture, definitely they are your greatest gifts. And so we are very anxious, hopeful, happy. I know that the children out there, students, they are also very anxious and happy to go home. And definitely, it is going to be a celebration welcoming these children, especially the P7 children who are the candidates for the first time in their life. They have completed their exams, and so they need, they are wishing to come back home after the completion.
You know, I remember those days when we were also in P7, that excitement, especially when you're writing the last paper. I don't know how it all comes, but there is something unique you feel inside you, that energy that has been rejuvenated in you, and that excitement. So I can really imagine what those little ones
It's been the first sitting, and they are imagining
with
what
all the
work
stories
is
they've
going
told
to
you
be.
about PLE.
Yes, some of them we've been promising them as parents. Complete the exams, we take you out, we do this, we are promising this and that. So they are very expectant, and so they can't wait to come home and experience everything with their parents.
You've reminded me, one of the reasons I had to work hard, Amze used to tell us, make sure you work hard so that you put on a pair of trousers in secondary. Now we are putting on shorts. I think partly that is the reason as to why when I went to my first school and they were putting on shorts. So my friends used to laugh at us. Hey, are you guys still in primary? How do you put on shorts in secondary? And, you know, there is that feeling that morale that I was biased because of those statements, and because you also wanted to put on a pair of trousers.
Don't bias my students in Mengo.
No, of course.
They put on shorts, and it's a culture that is not going to change. But they are cool.
I'm speaking on my behalf. On my behalf.
Yes.
But somehow, to me it was okay, but then as a young person, the pressure from friends who are in other schools that are putting on trousers, so you feel a little demotivated, and the way they laugh at you, but it is all cool, it is all cool. So we look at a parent, how they receive this child. I'll still bring this back because it is still moving around Uganda and out of Uganda about the hampers and the monies. There is a very big debate. Some people say, through the comments, people say, at least these hampers should be given to students these children after the exams. So as you receive them home, you should prepare all these hampers with this money and all those other gifts. You give them when they are home, not at school. We're looking at preparing the mind, one, of the parent who is ready and excited to receive their child. It could be maybe the first born who has made it to P7, and you know, all the little ones are looking up to this person, and you want to motivate this one so that the others can also know that, when you reach P7, this is what they do to you. How can we speak to a parent like that?
Thank you very much. As parents, we know that today we are nurturing the 21st century child. Much as some of the parents today are also part of the 21st century. But as long as we have this child, now we consider it to be another century. And so there are so many expectations. There are so many expectations that the current children have. They are so expectant of very heavenly things on earth. And so as parents, we must prepare to welcome them in a way that we shall harmonize together with them and agree on certain things without definitely thinking it is their right to own whatever they want, but we come back to the round table, sit and agree on different things. As children, for example, P7, there are things that you can motivate them through their age. So bringing that hamper full of money to motivate them is another way that may not be right to do so. And these children are very clever. Even when you sit with them, they would, and you give them the opportunity to independently plan with you how to spend the holiday and how to receive them back home. They have better ideas than you can even imagine. Okay. So as parents, we need to be very keen when we are picking these students from their schools. We give them an opportunity to open their minds to the world and share with us how they would feel very happy, even that first day at home. Yes.
Okay. We also look at these other children in the other classes who were promised a lot of things as they were going to school. When you work hard, when you become number one, when you get this particular aggregate, I'll do this and this and this. Probably I'll buy you a phone, I'll do this. Let us talk about the motivation. How effective should a parent motivate their holiday maker? One, so they don't lose morale and they don't look at you as a liar. Because if you promise them a phone and then you come and just give them maybe 20,000, they'll say you as a liar. They say, so mommy uses this as a trick to make us spend.
As parents, we must make promises that we must keep. If you make any promise, even if it is taking this child for a vacation in Dubai, please fulfill that promise. Otherwise, you are trying to create a liar in your child. They will see you as a liar, and they will see that lying is something normal, and even them, they will grow up to that. So do not make a promise that you're not going to fulfill. Some of the promises were out of encouraging them to perform very hard. Still, you have an opportunity to sit with them. For example, if I promise my daughter I'll buy her an iPhone, out of motivation, now it is time to go back to reality and know that a P7 child is not supposed to carry an iPhone. And so I sit down with her and make sure that I introduce the topic in a way that she will not feel bad and she will not look at it as if I've lied to her. And in that way, definitely I'll have an alternative for her, something I can do for her that can motivate her and also help her to harmonize your relationship with them. And in that regard, there are different factors, of course. There are different things that keep on piling up, you as a parent and your child, that you can do, and it will encourage them. It will motivate them into children with values, children with principles, and children whom the world can look up to. For example, communication. Communication is very vital. How do you communicate with your child? Is it by bossing them as us parents? We know that I dictate over my child, or it is now time that I sit with them and make sure that the communication lines are very open. Let's communicate about different things. Let's have regular meetings when they come home. If you leave them home, let's have regular phone calls. And etc. We discuss the holiday experience and their expectations together. That way, they can even signal to you something you promised, and for you have even forgotten that you did. And then you come back to a round table and discuss it and agree. These children are very wise and they can easily understand as long as you involve them in communication.
Okay, because I look at parents. Because the truth is, some parents are strangers to their children. They never take time to understand their children. I don't know, because of their busy schedules, that you realize a parent, the only day they have is Sunday, and Sunday also has its own stories. Church, and in some churches, they're there almost up to 3. They come back tired, they rest, so they never get time to talk to their children. Let us now talk about the importance of a parent giving their child time to speak to them, to understand them, and what can that yield? How far can they go, especially when it comes to the relationship between a parent and their child?
Now, from the beginning, I said that parents are the greatest gifts God will ever give a child. And likewise, a child is the greatest gift God will ever give to a parent. You cannot be called a parent when you don't have children, whether biological or not. I encourage that because we have so many out there who don't have biological parents, but they are still in a family. And so, because these are the most important gifts we have, then we need to give them our priorities. And when we fail to give them our priorities, I call that selfishness, in my own opinion. We have tended to think about ourselves, that we no longer even look forward to these things that we are suffering for. If I am working very hard, day in, day out, it is these children that I'm working for. And so, if they are the ones I'm working for, then I need to harmonize with them that they should know I'm working for them. However, as a child, you become a stranger in his or her life if the communication lines are cut. They don't know what you're up to. They don't know whether you are even working for them anymore. You're there, and then for you're there struggling. I need my child to get the best education. I need my child to get the best life. So I must work very hard. But this child is also here. And hey, mommy loves work more than me. My daddy loves work more than me. I wish I were a computer. Maybe they would spend more time on me. I wish I were the phone. They would spend more time on me. Now, parents, we must agree that that is selfishness. We need to think deeply about it. As I said that we are nurturing the 21st century child, we are not going to sit back just to make sure that we babysit them. No. But in your schedule, find family time. Create family time, even if you are busy from Monday to Saturday. What are the measures you have put there to make sure that you remain relevant in these children's lives? Do you get some time? Maybe you have your break, you're going to have lunch, and call them at home, talk to them, remind them that you love them, remind them that you are working for them, ask them how their day is back at home where you're not. Then, if it is a Sunday, please have one family day at least where you spend time with them. Then they will understand on other days when you're busy and when you come back very tired. Then when you prepare that day as a family day, then make sure that everything you could have known about your children in that day, you know a lot. How? Spend time. Have regular meetings, like I said, have a family meeting, and in that family meeting, try and be an active listener. Don't say, me, I'm old, I am your father, I am your mother, so you must listen to me. No, the intention of the meeting is for you to dig out how these children are feeling and what their needs are, which needs that you have to meet as a parent. Remember that you're there, God on earth, and God gives us enough time. Likewise, as parents, create that time. Even if it is small, let the children know that Dad is a busy man. But when he gets some time for us, we really enjoy that time. And that will be enough for this child. Have regular prayer sessions with them on that day and even other days in case you get an opportunity. And there you're ensuring that their needs are met effectively. And so even when you're very busy, they understand. But if you distance yourself away from them, when it's Sunday, you go to church alone, you leave them at home. Instead of
or you
going
send them and you step back.
Or you send them and you stay back. Then you go for gym and sauna. You go for exercise. Go with them. You know, if you're going for football, go with your sons. If you're going for, even your daughters, by the way, make sure that whichever time you have, at least they are by your side. And so they can easily know that Dad is very busy, but we understand. Because when he has some little time, he really spends it with us.
Okay. We now look at the students themselves, because at least you're one of those people who spend much time with the students. I mean the teachers. You should be at least taking time to ask them their expectations in holiday, what are some of the answers they give you?
Thank you very much. Edrine, when you invited me for this program today, I thought I could do something different. From only giving my own perspective, today I chose to engage some students.
Okay, that is interesting.
I called them, we talked. I told them I am going for this topic, but as a student and a child in the home, what are your expectations? And so every point I'll give here is directly from them.
So a parent should be so attentive,
yes,
and know that this is what your child is expecting.
I've engaged 5 students, 3 girls and 2 boys.
Okay.
And definitely these are their expectations. These are things they would fear to talk to their parents about, but they feel if this is done, for example, that communication line being very open, they feel very happy. They told me, teacher, we don't need our fathers and our parents to be there all the time with us, no. But we need to feel that we are important in their lives. Even if they give us 1 hour in a week, but we feel that that hour is ours, then we are happy, we are good to go, we understand.
Okay, so that is one. What else did they tell you?
Secondly, these children told me about planning together.
Okay.
Making plans in the home together, planning for the holiday. For example, this is going to be the longest holiday ever. And I know that as parents, some of them have started getting goosebumps. What am I going to do with these children? What should I do?
They end up taking them back for coaching.
Some are already scared. Some are even planning coaching sessions, either in home or outside home, just to make sure that these children are not in the house. However, these children are saying that we could have joint planning with them. We consider them to be independent and mature, and so we involve them in our planning. What are we going to plan? Let's collaborate together with them. They say that the meaningful activities in the home can be planned together, rather than just ambushing them and telling them, I need you to do this, A, B, C, D, F, G, that we plan with them. And how do we plan? If we have outings, for example, let's plan together. We ask them where they would love to go, not us where we want to take them. Then also different workshops, maybe online educational talks, maybe chat service, like fellowships online, anything that improves their life skill, and also the different projects that they can engage into. They want to be involved in planning. For example, those projects, they are projects which as parents we feel they are good, and we feel that when our children engage in them, they are going to help them to nurture them realistically as as very good citizens in the country. However, we forget to plan with them. If, for example, the Archbishop introduced the Go Green campaign, and also, of course, doing away with Kavera. And he encouraged every church, every home, at least to plant a tree. We as parents, we wish to plant trees. Let's say you have somewhere you can plant a tree. Why not let this child get involved and plan for you how that tree can be planted? If, for example, we are going to have a cleaning around the road to our home, why not let them plan that? And so, because when you plan it for them, then they feel like you're imposing on them. They don't like touching that ground. But when you allow them do that, then definitely they will do it very well. Then also they talked about sharing resources, that we should be able to share resources. For example,
isn't that tricky?
As a parent, do you know the movies your children are watching? Themselves, they said that they watch different movies. Some of them are now addicted to porn, but their parents think that they are Holy Spirit, they are angels. They are very angelic in the home. When he calls this baby girl, the way she comes, the way she talks to him. But behind there, whatever she's watching. And so they are concerned that some parents, a child can be in her bedroom, the parent is on computer, the child is in her bedroom for almost 2-3 hours, the parent is not concerned what they are doing behind there. The movies they watch, the books they read, the educational websites, they really beseech us to plan with them, encourage them, tell them why they shouldn't watch this type and why they should watch this type. Then those productive activities like everything, like gardening, maybe compound activities at home. If it is slashing the compound, teach your sons and daughters to do that rather than getting a worker from outside. If it is maybe like flower gardening, let them do it. Then also have family time. That is what they require, and then share those resources together. Tell them why you think it is bad to watch this and not to watch this. And also watching movies, they say that we give them all the time to watch whatever they want, and so they would wish to be limited. They like it, and if you let them, they will continue, but they feel it is our weakness. They still go back and discuss us and say, my parents are very weak in this and this way. Then they also talked about encouraging independence. When you're planning things at home, do you mind to know that your children should be independent minded? If they bring, for example, they bring, maybe they discuss something, how do you respect their own opinion if they give an opinion on something? For example, it's, they are going to prepare a favorite meal. The maid is home, and they are going, you know that your daughter loves meat very much, but you don't give her an opportunity to go and prepare that meat because you feel she will prepare it poorly the way you don't want. Allow her and teach her.
Or maybe you want to find value for the money you pay the maid.
Yes, and also value for the money. But then you kill the independence of this child in planning the household chores, in dividing different roles. Actually, even planning household chores, if they are 2 or 3, allow them plan for themselves first and let them show you their timetable, how they are going to handle things, who should mop, who should clean this, who should clean that. There, you're training them to be so independent minded and also to be good at decision making, whether you are there or you're not there. They also said that we should encourage feedback. Sometimes they do something good, they wait for even a thank you in vain. We take it for granted that they should do it. But however, they request that when he does something good, he has put in a lot of effort, much as he should do it, but he expects you to appreciate them. He expects a feedback from you. And also, they say that some of us parents, we are weak in one way. We do not even inquire from their teachers about their lives at school, their performance.
Actually, that is very, very important. Let's take a short commercial break. When we come back, we are going to pick it from there. Some parents are too busy to even find out how their children are, even from teachers. Please stick with us. We are coming. Welcome back from that commercial break. This is Family Hour. Monday, we are discussing education. Very, very important. We know we are in a season. In a week or two, most of the schools will have closed. So we shall have, I think the official date is 2nd December?
Yes.
Yeah, that is the official date. But, of course, some schools tend to not to go that far. Some schools will be breaking off on 24th or even before that. So we know we are receiving our children. And very interesting that the children have their own concerns. It is important that as a parent, you pay attention. You know, I was somewhere last. It came as a result of the fire that gutted a particular school in Masaka, Kasana primary school. So the doctor at Chirudu said most of the affected children were those ones that were very young and helpless. But those who could ran for their lives. What about these little ones who had been taken to boarding, maybe because the parents are busy. So the argument came from there. And a lady said, I wake up, I go to work at 6:30. I come back at 9. So when will I ever have time for this child? So people are asking her, this lady, what about in holiday when schools have closed? I take my child to my mother, who is now the grandmother of the child. So people are like, it will be hard for you to convince this child that you are the mother. So you'll be the point. Sinza kuzala, mwana go sinze mama. You'll have to use a lot of words to convince this child that you are a mother. Now, we have such parents who are busy. They have probably taken that route. They have decided to take their children to boarding as early as 4 or 5 or 6, and we think it is the trend. Those schools are benefiting out of this because these ones tend to pay even a little more than the others. But at the end of it all, is this the right thing to do as a parent? Secondly, when these children are at school, you do a lot. You put in a lot of efforts to see that you nurture them into responsible citizens. You instill in them patriotic values, lifestyle values, and a lot of things you do as teachers. When they come home, it is different. There is no one to watch over what they do. There is no one to supervise what they're doing. I think that is why the children are concerned. They wake up at 10. At school, you train them to wake up very early, and they wake up at 10 or even midday. No one will follow up that. So how effective should a parent continue supervising and maintaining the values that the children come with from school?
Thank you. As parents, we must try our level best to bond with these children. The moment we don't try to bond, then we become strangers forever. Even today, when you see the generation that has completed campus or like 2 years into the field, most of them don't think about home at all.
Exactly.
They don't. Even Christmas, they look at it as, it is just a culture that they have to go for Christmas. However, there is no bond between them and their parents. There is nothing they miss so much apart from because you paid fees for them. As parents, what would we want our children to miss when we are not there anymore? Will they miss the fact that we would pay fees for them and provide for them, or they would miss the bonding that we had with them? What would they say about us? What testimonies would they have about us? It is true, some of the parents are extremely busy. You wake up very early, you're beating the traffic, you go to work, then you come back home very late. If you have these children, can you once in a while bring them to your workplace? I've seen parents who do that. They pick their children or send someone to pick them, then bring them to their workplace, sit them somewhere. But the children have that feeling that we are near our mother, we are near our dad, and when he finishes work, we shall go home. You can give them games to play, but where you can be able to watch them. That would be one way of bonding with them. As you're moving with them back home in this car, there is a way you're discussing and you're asking them about how their school has been, rather than finding them at home sleeping. Now, when we have grown old, we would need these children to keep checking on us. What if they don't check on us anymore? Whose blame is it? Is it theirs or it is ours? So as parents, let's try to bond with our children at this age when they are young, so that when we grow old, they are also able to bond with us. And like I had said earlier, they look at us, they measure us, and they look at our loopholes as parents in their lives. These children are very intelligent. They are more mature than we think. Most of them are more mature than their own age. And so they understand more than we think they do. They do understand. And so they say, hey, imagine, mommy has I gave her the phone number for my teacher, but she has never even called. Instead, the teacher and the child For them, they discuss, but the mother, the father, they are never concerned about getting feedback from teachers, from school about their children. And when you get that feedback, then you can easily build from there and make sure that you give the children where they need further attention, or where you look at their progress, and where they need to be attended to, you find ways of attending to them. However busy our schedule can be, we can find, we can be very creative in that schedule still. Spend a little time with them, either in a car moving back home and etc. But make sure that you don't spend a day without knowing how they have been, coming home when they have already slept and waking up when they are still in bed. And so when you provide feedback, even provide feedback where you are happy with them or you're not happy with them, their behavior, how their behavior is satisfying towards you and how not. And also their academic, their social developments, their social achievements, hard work, please celebrate them. And when you celebrate them, definitely you're trying to create a bond between you and these children. In future, you find that a child loves the maid. If the maid is a good one, the child will be loving the maid, will be so in touch with the maid than they are so in touch with you as a parent. It's not our right anymore. It is us to nurture and build our relationship with them.
Well, there's something you talked about, feedback, and we shall draw some little time on feedback. Yes. And then we get to now that one that you ended with. You know, we have a challenge. Now, this is a short story that happened when I was in school. We had a student who used to steal other people's property. So he connives with the desk scholars. He steals, for example, my shoes. He gives the shoes to the desk scholar, so the desk scholar sneaks them out in whichever ways, because the bags were always checked. But they will always find a way of sneaking property out. As students, they're always creative. You said we are dealing with 21st century students. Now, when they called the parent, of course, after thorough investigations and evidence, they called the parent to come to school. And the parent came and said, actually, I had a dream when you were falsely accusing my child.
Yes.
And the parent insisted. Actually, she said, my child is so much trusted that the father can even give him 3 million for a month. He keeps it until when the father needs it. So I cannot at any time believe that my child is a thief. You are accusing him falsely.
Wow.
What happens in such a situation when the school is giving feedback, but the parent is not even willing to take in the feedback?
I think, thank God that at Family TV, you have these kinds of talks, because some parents need to learn through maybe listening to other people and it is. Like I said earlier, these children can tend to be so angelic.
Yeah.
But when in actual sense, it is their teachers or the school that knows them even more. Recently, there's a student somewhere, the mother is a judge in one of the schools around. So the teachers we were discussing as teachers from different schools, and they told us, the mother came complaining that the teachers are giving a lot of work to her son. Apparently he's the only child, and the mother is a judge, the father is also in some big company. Now that stop stressing my child. He came complaining to me. Anytime he complains to me again, you people, I'm going to sue you. Don't give him a lot of notes to copy. Don't give him a lot of research to make. I don't want my child to be stressed here at school. And the teachers were mesmerized. What do we do? Look, parents, this child, as long as you have lifted this child and taken him to school, allow the teachers also to nurture him. Where you are not, allow them to nurture him. And so come to an agreement with them. Always listen attentively and actively. Stop so much conniving with your child to make him like a wrong character in an institution. Because at the end of that day, they will just leave him anyhow. Yeah. And in future, these are children You find when they are very depressed in life and they are being taken to rehabilitation centers and the parents paying a lot of money, you wonder, this parent is very rich. What happened to the child? It is because of the feedback that you give, the feedback that you pick from your child. When you listen to your child and then you criticize them, it does not mean that you hate them. And the Bible even talks about nurturing a child, that train a child in a way that they should go, so that when they grow up, they do not depart from that way. Is that the way you want to raise your own child? A child who does not even bathe, a child who susus on the bed, and even the next day, you find that even in class, when he's seated and this child that they were talking about him seriously, he has different character traits that are so bad for the society. By senior 2, he has been sent away from almost 3 schools, telling him to try elsewhere because of those negative behaviors. Up to now, the mother is not yet convinced that his child should be trained differently. So if I feel very insecure in trying to train my child in that way, then that is when you need to give chance to other people also to come in, so that you pick efforts together, and then you see to the growth of this child. Help the child to fit in an environment where they are. Help the child to know independently that the teachers are very responsible for his life, and they can be able to officially punish him for any wrongdoing, and also rebuke him openly so that they can help him change.
Okay. As we were beginning this show, I told you about a very big discussion, and now you've initiated another one. When we talk about appreciating these children or commending them for their efforts, of course, some parents will say, "Oh, my child, it has been a long, you can sleep, you can do this," as a way of motivating them maybe, or treating them, giving them good treats in holiday. Others will say, "I'll take you wherever you want to go," or "I'll give you whichever amount of money you want." Or like I told you last time, streets are already flooding. People are going to all those places, buying for their children phones and all that, as another way of probably motivating them. Could this really be a mark of bad parenting? That if I cannot buy for my child a phone, if I cannot buy this particular gift, or if I cannot give my child this amount of money weekly for their personal private expenditure, then I'm not a good parent. Or there are other ways a parent can still prove. Anyway, do they even need to prove that I'm a parent, I'm a good parent? All your acts towards the child. But in case you need to prove, like someone said in the other comments, that some of us are absent in the children's lives, so this is the only opportunity we have to show them that. So anyway, if you need to prove that you're a parent, what can you do instead of lavishing most of these fancy things onto the child?
Thank you so much. Actually, whatever we've talked about, sharing resources, communication, encouraging them to be independent, establishing different routines, giving them feedback, definitely celebrating their achievements.
How do you celebrate their achievement?
How do you celebrate their achievement? Definitely, these children must be celebrated. Show them, first of all, that you're very happy with what they have done. Commend them. And show them that they are going to be great. That is also one way of celebrating their achievements. Then too, when you're going to gift them in some way, make sure that it is something that is planned for. For example, you cannot gift your child a phone when you have not prepared prior the reason for that phone.
I might be excited.
Maybe now that excitement.
They have done something good, and I'm excited.
You can provide a phone where you can always communicate with them. Let there be a reason for doing something. But that kind of excitement...
New curriculum requires a fund for research.
Even encouraging them itself is very important. Exactly. Now you've brought the new curriculum. If I'm buying a child a laptop, for example, let the child know from the start that it is for educational purposes. It is true, I have made her life easier, but it is for educational purposes. Even if this child tries to do other things, like watch movies that they're not supposed to watch, in their hearts they will know, my mother thinks that I'm doing something educational. That will ring in their mind forever. And so at some point, they will stop doing this something wrong because they know that you don't encourage it. If for example, you're gifting him or her a phone, let it be that you need him to do some research at home. Show him something positive, not just leaving him to do whatever he wants with this phone. So that, you remember, these are 21st century. One child was telling, my mother bought me a laptop and put parental guidance. But I look at her, teacher, my mother, I'm even better in computer than her. I know how to install apps. I know how to delete the apps that she has, to put back the apps that she has deleted.
Wow.
And when she's coming, I delete them immediately. So as parents, if we do not put that into consideration and talk to our children about how negative this is, how positive this is, we need to tell them the positive attributes to a laptop, positive attributes to any gift that we give them, so that if they handle it in a negative way, they will still know. For us as parents, we've told them exactly what they should do. And so, like you asked about celebrating their achievements, for example, if you get them and you go for dinner somewhere together, you create time as family time. You have gone for dinner, and then even you had it in mind that you shouldn't cook at home today, but then you tell this child, you see, we are going to celebrate you. This child will never forget. It's a favorable memory in their lives. They'll never forget this, that you celebrated them. You went for dinner, you bought her juice, you bought her this. Then, but these are three things, the expensive gifts. They are even, because you're gifting her as an individual. But remember, in the whole family, you are many. Do something that can bring you together. Take them for swimming, for example. And when they are swimming, you are also there watching them, meaning you're spending time together. Let us come back and find other ways of celebrating them than giving them individual gifts that they are going to spend on themselves independently. Let us use that chance to create family time. And we become, maybe we talk about different things. And then in that way, also, when we are creating different tasks and routines, after celebrating them, they'll learn very quickly. You sit down and say, what time should we sleep? What time should we have our meal? Don't force it on them that by 8, there is a time I used to do that. I would tell them, meal time by 6, you should be, supper should be ready. But I realized that was a wrong approach to nurturing them. So this time I say, you see, a good meal is eaten between 6 and 7. Beyond 7, it is no longer it is no longer a good meal to eat. So they know now they must struggle because they know the importance of eating a meal early enough. So as parents, we must do that, celebrate them, then bring them back in the right way. And even when we are celebrating them, create things that bond us together, that bring us together. If it's a cake, buy a cake, take it home, and then as she's cutting her cake, all of you are there cutting with her. That is a way of bonding as children. And so, children and parents, because these children want us to be their mentor. What is it that we are doing in our lives that we feel these children should never do? Or what is it that we are doing that we feel when they grow up, they should do the same? We need to list those things down, both positive and negative. And as parents, we also try to change because we must be their mentors. And so they need to copy from us about a lot of things.
Well, this is the last one. I know it is going to shake some more tables. But you know, parents have advanced from carrying the gifts and hampers themselves, taking them to school. Now they give them to particular celebrities. So, for example, they get a celebrity, so and so, they're comedians, they're musicians, they pay them lots of money to take this particular hamper to their children at school. As teachers, how do you feel about this, this situation?
The good thing is, I have heard, I am still trying to dig out on that information, but I have heard that the policymakers have also come out to condemn this act. And now they are saying that whoever is caught doing that might be definitely brought to book. And most of the schools definitely have come to say, no, this is not right. And so we forbid it, just like we forbid other things. For example, in Mengo, if you're a parent, a mother, and you come indecently dressed, you're not allowed in school. That's a policy they know. And so even bringing hampers and the like to school, that's a policy that if you do it at home, no one is going to follow you in your own home to tell you that you're doing something wrong. So wait, when you reach home, you can do it. However, if you
at home, it will not make more news. When I give this celebrity money, it makes more news. There's a way it speaks volumes about me as the parent.
Exactly. So the good thing is, at school, the policymakers, the government, the Ministry of Education, they are also condemning this. And so it is something that is not going to go on.
At one time, Bank of Uganda issued a directive. I don't know how it died, but they issued a directive about that money that is always put in those hampers. But we pray that it is revived. What are your parting shots as we end this discussion? I
encourage the parents to listen actively to your children and remember that they are maturing faster than we think. And also create an environment for positive behavior. Make sure that the environment you create is very positive. You cannot go on a party with your daughter and you're taking beer. You're even encouraging her also to taste that beer. Then in future, you're saying, you girl, stop being a drunkard. No, let us create a good environment. Let's have family nights, vacations, exercises. We do them together. And helping the community, definitely doing something tangible for any other person, and let's build their self-esteem. One child was telling me recently that the mother told her, because the mother separated from the dad, and when she realized that this child has talked to the father, then she comes and says, you girl, I think in the hospital they gave me a different baby. By the way, I've never seen a girl as ugly as you. So this girl was saying, teacher, I've contemplated suicide twice because my mother abuses me every day. Let's build their self-esteem. If you want to speak something, but you think it's negative, find a way of letting it die within your heart. That is even what the Bible says about the tongue being very venomous. So teach them good habits, good etiquettes, because we are going to be with them for a long time. And as their teachers, we need to receive them when they have more good values than even when we sent them to you. Thank you very much. Students out there who are already home and those who are planning to go home, I wish you God's blessings. Please take care and make sure that you plan to take a step at a time and plan your activities very well. Be positive, have a positive attitude to life, and make sure that you do good things and you leave the bad ones. Make good choices and make sure that you come nearer to God than even never before. That is when your life is going to be shaped. And then when you come back to our schools, we shall receive you with open arms. Keep in touch with us as your teachers, and also keep in touch with your parents. Also create a good environment for your parents to come into your lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Agaba. It's been a pleasure, but just a word to a parent out there. Whatever you do is a reflection of what your child is going to do. And whatever you don't tell them now is what they'll use as a spear to pierce your heart when they grow up. So let us do what we are supposed to do as parents, because the teachers have done their part for the 3 or 2 months they have spent with these children. Thank you so much for watching Family Hour. We meet tomorrow. We shall be discussing a very pertinent topic. We know 1st December is World AIDS Day, so we shall be discussing something about AIDS, which you do not have to miss out. Good night. God bless you.